I want you to imagine something. I want you to Friday night, you're 17, you don't have much money, but somehow you're sitting behind the wheel of a car that makes you feel like you can take on the entire world. And that because it's expensive, not because it's the fastest thing on the road, but because it actually talks to you. It responds to you.
It makes you feel alive in a way that nothing else does. That's what Japanese sports cars used to do. And then, quietly, without any warning, without any dramatic farewell,
They all died. The Toyota Celica, the Honda S2000, the Nissan Silvia, the Mitsubishi Eclipse.
5 names, 5 legends, 5 cars that meant something real to real people.
The Mazda RX-8. Posters on bedroom walls, unlockables in video games. The reason teenagers started caring about gear ratios and turbo lag and RPM limits. And one by one, they all disappeared. Not with a bang, not with a proper goodbye. Just gone.
So what actually happened? Let's start with the Celica.
Toyota built it for people who wanted a little fire in their life. It went rally racing, got muddy and sideways and completely wild. And for a whole generation, it proved that Toyota wasn't just about being reliable. They could build something genuinely exciting. But then the market started shifting.
SUVs were coming. Insurance costs were going up. Toyota looked at the numbers and made a quiet corporate decision.
The Prius became the future. The Celica became the past. No special edition, no emotional farewell, no big announcement. Just discontinued. A car that raced across continents, that kicked up dirt on rally stages around the world, ended by a spreadsheet inside a boardroom.
Then came the S2000, and if the Celica was Toyota showing its rebellious side, the S2000 was Honda showing off completely.
Rear-wheel drive, manual only. An engine that screamed past 9,000 RPM and demanded you keep up with it. Perfect weight distribution, 0 unnecessary features.
No automatic option, no soft suspension, no hand-holding. It was built by engineers who actually loved driving and refused to compromise on what driving should feel like.
But here's the problem. Most people don't want a car that demands something from them. Most people want comfort. They want automatic. They want easy. They want something that asks nothing and gives everything. The S2000 gave you nothing for free. It was honest in a way that the market had stopped rewarding. When the 2008 financial crisis hit, and Honda had to make tough decisions,
the S2000 was too pure, too niche, too real for the new direction the company was heading. 2009, gone. And the painful truth is, Honda didn't kill it because it failed as a sports car.
They killed it because it succeeded at being something the world had stopped caring about. Then there was the Nissan Silvia. And if one car in history can claim to have built an entire underground culture, it's this one. Lightweight, rear-wheel drive, turbocharged, affordable, and absolutely perfect for drifting.
Young drivers loved it because it was simple enough to learn on and strong enough to push hard, and it became the face of an entire movement, sideways through corners, wheels smoking under streetlights, looking like something straight out of a movie.
The S13, S14, S15, each one a legend in its own right. But Nissan was going through serious financial trouble. The company had to survive first, and fun came second. Stricter emissions rules hit. Someone willing to fight for it. Someone who understood what it meant to the people who loved it. Nobody stepped up. Early 2000s. The S15 ended, and with it, one of the greatest affordable driver's cars ever built just disappeared. And here's the part that makes it hurt even more. The fans never left.
They still want it. They still import old ones and pay crazy money for them. They still modify them and race them and build entire communities around them.
Nissan didn't lose the audience. Nissan lost its nerve.
The Mitsubishi Eclipse was a different kind of legend. It was culturally dangerous in the best possible way. Turbocharged, all-wheel drive available, aggressive, affordable, and deeply connected to the golden age of street racing culture.
Bright paint, body kits, turbo sounds, late-night races, the Eclipse was the gateway drug for an entire generation of car enthusiasts. But Mitsubishi made the mistake that kills a lot of great cars.
They stopped listening to the people who loved it. The Eclipse got bigger, heavier, softer, less focused. The turbocharged all-wheel drive magic faded away. The soul started leaking out quietly, one model year at a time, and the enthusiasts noticed even if they couldn't explain exactly what was missing.
By 2012, when the coupe finally ended, it wasn't shocking anymore. It felt like watching someone fade out after a long illness. But then came the real gut punch.
Years later, Mitsubishi brought the Eclipse name back, not as a sports car, not as a performance coupe, as a crossover SUV, the Eclipse Cross. For the fans, that wasn't just a disappointment.
That was a betrayal. A name that once meant turbocharged street racing energy, a name that made teenagers dream, was put on a family SUV.
The Eclipse didn't just die. Its name got recycled into something completely different. And somehow that hurts even more than the death itself. And finally, the Mazda RX-8, the strangest, most beautiful, most heartbreaking story of them all.
Mazda has always been a little different from everyone else. While other companies chased safety and volume and played it safe, Mazda chased feel,
balance, lightness, that indescribable sense of connection between driver and machine that most modern cars have completely given up on. And at the heart of it all was the rotary engine compact, smooth, high-revving, and completely unique to Mazda.
The RX-8 was weird in all the right ways. 4 doors, but suicide-style rear doors. A sports car that could actually carry 4 adults.
Sharp handling, a rotary engine that loved to rev and sounded unlike anything else on the road. It was trying to keep a dream alive in a world that was rapidly moving on. But the rotary was also difficult and expensive and fuel-hungry and hard to manage under increasingly strict emissions rules. Normal buyers were scared of it.
Mazda tried to make it work for as long as they possibly could. But eventually the math stopped adding up. The investment required was too much.
And in 2012, the RX-8 ended. The rotary engine vanished from mainstream production. Not because it was boring, not because nobody loved it, because it was too strange, too special, too difficult for a world obsessed with efficiency and simplicity and low risk.
So what actually killed all 5 of these cars? You could blame emissions rules. You could blame the rise of SUVs.
You could blame changing markets and shifting tastes. But if you really look at it honestly, the real killer was fear, corporate fear, the fear of small markets, the fear of building something for passion instead of profit, the fear of investing in a car that makes people feel something when it's safer and easier to build something that simply sells.
The Celica lost its performance edge. The S2000 was too demanding for mass appeal. The Silvia was too risky to justify.
Every one of these cars had flaws. The Eclipse forgot its own identity. The RX-8 carried an engine the modern world didn't want to deal with. But every single one of them had soul. They made people genuinely care. They built communities and inspired obsession and created the kind of loyalty that car brands spend billions of marketing dollars trying to manufacture but almost never actually achieve.
And that's exactly why their deaths still hurt, years later, decades later, long after they've been out of production. Because when a normal, forgettable car gets discontinued, you forget it within a week.
Nobody writes about it. Nobody mourns it. But when a legend dies, when a car that meant something real to real people just quietly disappears, people keep asking why.
They keep asking for years. Here's what I keep coming back to. A car company can survive without passion.
You can build practical cars, follow the market, play it safe, and the brand will keep going. But it will never be loved. Not the way people loved these five. The roads today are still full of fast cars and impressive technology and SUVs with every feature you could possibly want. But something is missing.
And if you actually know, what a Silvia felt like going sideways, or what an S2000 sounded like at 9,000 RPM.
Or what it meant to see a Celica on a rally stage, you feel that missing thing every single time you walk into a modern showroom. So tell me, which one did you grow up dreaming about? Because for a lot of us, these weren't just discontinued cars. They were the reason we fell in love with driving in the first place.
And once they were gone, the roads became a little quieter, a little more ordinary, and a whole lot less exciting.